Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. This story has been pushed back a day or two because there's really been so much going on in Bachelor Nation, but I would be remiss if I didn't give you guys an update here. Bachelorette star Josh Seiter checks into mental health facility months after alleged Instagram death hoax. Let's jump into the story right now. This was shared on his Instagram, and TMZ's reporting it because they were actually the first publication that kind of called him out, but also interviewed him discussing his death hoax. So let's get into it. Bachelorette contestant Josh says he's getting much needed help to get a handle on his mental health after receiving an onslaught of hate following claims his Instagram was hacked after a post announcing his death was published on the account. I'm going to share my opinion respectfully regarding this in a second, but let's just share what he had to say. Josh made the announcement Monday, telling followers he's logging off social media for good and checking into a wellness facility to address his mental health struggles. He posted this: "For the last month, I've received hundreds of hateful messages and unending harassment related to my account being hacked. I wish I was stronger, but I can't take any more, and I'm logging off of social media for good, and I'm checking myself into a wellness facility now to try to get some kind of handle on my mental health. I am losing my phone in the next hour. I love you all. To the people sending me death threats, you win." Now, there's another fake death scandal involving Lil Tay, which I'm going to get to in a minute, but I'm going to share my opinion with this. Now, I don't condone sending hate to anybody, but if you had to ask me, do I believe he created the fake death hoax, or do I believe somebody else did it? Well, quite simply, my personal belief, having followed the story, is that he created the death hoax. That's my personal belief. He's obviously struggled with mental health issues in the past and continues to do so, but it doesn't change the fact that that's what I believe, right? So he's not famous enough for anyone to want to hack his account. And then after he was quote unquote hacked, he went basically a full day without any publicly addressing the fact that he was hacked. TMZ called him and tried to get comment. No one could get in touch with him, including his recent ex. Nobody could, you would think if... And there are plenty of scenarios, like I said. I'm about to go on a long flight. You guys are watching this probably after I've landed. But if you're on a cross-the-world flight and no one can get in touch with you for 20 hours, that's like the only time. Or you're hiking Mount Kilimanjaro and you're stuck on the side face of El Capitan as you free solo your way up the side of a cliff and you didn't have access to whatever. There are scenarios in which you wouldn't respond to a fake death hoax. But let me tell you what I would do. If there was a hoax. Now, I only know I know 4 cell phone numbers. I know my wife, my sister, my mom, and my stepdad. I think that's all I know. And I know my mom's beeper from 1992. I can't get it out of my head. 617-674-7843. It's just stuck. It's stuck in my head. Those are the numbers that I know. If there was a hoax where people were calling me or leaving voicemails, sad that I died and all this, the first thing I would do is find a phone where I can call somebody and get the truth out there. Now, you might say, well, if your friends aren't verified, then no one would believe them. And I go, well, Josh is an influencer. He's got a very big following. He's got plenty of friends that would answer a phone call or a DM or from somebody else. Like, there is somebody he could have gotten in touch with within 1 hour of this story coming out. That didn't happen. So either he created it, or someone else created it and he didn't want to correct anybody because he enjoyed, like, we all love this morose feeling, like we want to know. I think we all can agree. It's like you want to know who would show up to your funeral, but no one actually fakes one to find out, although that has happened. Josh says for the last month, so then there it was. And then, of course, in his first deleted post, he said it's with an extremely heavy heart that we share the tragic news of Josh's passing, blah, blah, blah. He said he's losing his phone. He's interviewed people. He's claimed he's the victim of this. And, maybe he is. I just don't believe it. And I think it's fair for me to say I don't believe it. With that said, I wouldn't condone anyone to put any hate on him. Now, I'm going to go to a side story of someone whose hacking account actually does make sense. Lil Tay, seen for the first time in years, a bizarre arrival at LAX. So Lil Tay was a 14-year-old phenom. She had this fake kind of Kardashian style character where she pretended to be some super millionaire riding around in Lamborghinis. And, who knows who was behind that account, but it went away. And she's been in a custody battle as a Canadian. And here's the update. Lil Tay is back in the public eye for the first time in 5 years, oddly covering up and staying quiet as she arrived in Los Angeles. Now, how they knew that she was arriving in Los Angeles is beyond me. I don't know. Maybe they had, a tip from Canada, or maybe who knows. The former social media flexer was bombarded with photogs at LAX Wednesday, covered in a hoodie, mask, and sunglasses. Tay wasn't alone, though, flanked by security, her mom, Angela, and brother, Jason. So there she is. Well, let's actually play the video and see as she's walking by. And again, she's a young lady. I think at this point she would be 19 if I do the math correct. But either way, she, most people when they get fame, they don't just give it away. But because of this crazy custody battle and whatnot, she actually posted something wild. Now, she's an adult, so we're going to listen to what she has to say. The article goes, this obviously marks a big milestone for Tay, who hasn't been seen since her virality came to an end in 2018. Paparazzi sprayed her with questions, but she kept her lips sealed, hopping into a ride without saying a word. Let's have a listen. Oh, I don't know why I don't know. Oh, here we go.
Little Tay in the future.
Lil Tay, how are you?
Here in Los Angeles, any stuff we should know about?
Is it true that your father faked your death?
The question was, is it true that your father faked your death?
Can
you tell us any more about what your father did? Have you seen him or spoken to him? Because he's denied it.
So Lil Tay did make a statement. Now, so the parents broke up. It's okay. This court case is, this custody battle is different than the Sophie Turner, Joe Jonas one. But with Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas, she's from the UK. He's from who knows where in the U.S. And there's a court battle where the kids aren't allowed to leave the U.S. till it's settled. So the kids are literally hanging out in New York City, and that's where that's at. Well, in this case, it's a little different. Tay teased her trip Tuesday night, posting a pic of her passport. She's from Canada, so it's almost certain she'd be going international, and now we know the destination. Okay, so maybe this is the first big story that's come back. Obviously, if you guys don't know, we covered this on the Dave Neal Show. The death hoax existed, which we believe was an actual hoax and not something she did. TMZ broke the story. Lil Tay was the subject of an alleged viral death hoax last month that was posted to her Instagram account. She told us her account was compromised by a third party and used to spread jarring misinformation and rumors regarding me. Well, look at this. A post on her Instagram account Tuesday dragged her father, Christopher, saying he was the one who faked her death, calling him an abusive, racist, misogynist, woman-beating father. So how about that drama? This is from Lil Tay. And again, if we go to her page here, we'll see how big her following is. She essentially, after all of the success she had, she just dropped it and then disappeared. And maybe it was for her own mental health, or maybe they just knew they couldn't monetize it. I don't really know. There's really no good reason. But 4.6 million followers, and it's closed for false information. Fact checker, lead story. Fact check. Internet personality Lil Tay has. Oh, this was the post that said she died. So this post is still up. How wild is this? The post is still up, and then there's a fact check that says, hey, this is not true. And then I don't know what happened to the other post we were looking at. Maybe this was on her. I guess this was on her Instagram stories. So no other post other than she hasn't deleted this post. I mean, why is it? So here's what someone commented. Actual truth. Mom posted she's alive on Instagram. They're going through a custody battle. Her dad has been stealing all her money and abusing her, giving her rotten food for lunch, having intercourse with people while she's right next to him in bed, hitting her and giving her rug burns on her. This is really terrible stuff. So I don't know who this is, but it has 1,500 likes. She has an update, and so clearly there's going to be more to this story. Again, this is adjacent to the story of Josh's hoax, but this one sadly involves a younger person who kind of found fame at an age where you couldn't even comprehend. Christopher, the dad, told us the claims against him are bogus and warned that the serious accusations could land whoever called him out in civil court. Her dad got a court order in 2018 to have her leave LA and return to Vancouver, but her mom recently won the long-running custody battle over Tay, meaning she's now able to return to the States. So we're guessing this will be the first of many Lil Tay sightings. How about that, folks? The weird world of the internet, from Bachelor to, death hoaxes on the international variety. It only gets stranger. On today's Bachelor Rush Hour, I'm actually interviewing Nick Thompson. I already did the interview. It's a fantastic one. He, of course, was on Love is Blind, and we talk about his fight to get better protections for reality TV stars, which could help people like Josh, people that have issues with their mental health. And again, Josh, for anyone who's followed his career, has been, troubling to say the least with some of the issues he's gotten into and the drama and dating people for, whatever the case may be. But it really does all stem back to mental health issues. So glad to see he's got been able to check into a mental health facility. And same thing for Lil Tay. Welcome back home. And we'll have more content for you guys. Tomorrow, I've got Chad from Game of Roses on Driving with Dave. So run, don't walk to the Dave Neal Show on YouTube and go subscribe to the channel. Get caught up on all the old videos, and we'll be back with more content.